Well, we're on a road trip, and I figured I could do a little bit of recording anyway. There are a few things worth talking about. So the obvious one is that one of the recent videos caused a little bit of, shall we say, HEMA drama on Facebook in particular. One of the groups, where some discussions going on, some of them rather angry discussions. And so I don't want to talk too much about that because I already made the clarification video and corrected a few things and all of that. So I think it's good though to talk about something that newer subscribers may not be aware of. Now, I've said a number of times that about these things I don't consider myself to be an expert, but again, it's, you know, people constantly come in, are new to the channel and may not know that. I know that there's a bit of a tendency to, whenever you see someone talk on YouTube about something, anything really, to assume that they are or claim to be some kind of authority on the topic just because they talk about it and because they get a lot of views, that sort of thing. And I think it's important to keep in mind that that's not always the case. Like in my case, I've always considered myself to be just an enthusiast who likes to make entertainment videos and provide some information as well. But, you know, just I like to share certain things that I'm enthusiastic about, you know, historical arms and armor and historical martial arts. Now, as far as HEMA is concerned, I'm not an instructor, I'm a student, and I do sometimes make videos with instructors, and so I like to put out ideas, and sometimes, you know, I think it can be good to challenge, you know, existing notions and concepts, and sometimes I may go overboard and kind of overstate a point, like in that case about feints. One thing I found really peculiar is there was one, or I think there were two comments on that video, the first video I made about it, saying that it's irresponsible. Now, yeah, I hear some word from you over there. So I'm the first person to acknowledge that, yes, there is a certain responsibility when having a large channel because a lot of people watch it. So if you put out misinformation, you know, either deliberately or unintentionally, that's not a good thing. And I try to avoid that as much as I can. However, mistakes happen, for one. And the other thing is also, in what kind of world exactly would you know, getting the idea that feints have problems and that you maybe should do things differently, getting the idea would get someone killed or injured. I mean, we're talking about historical martial arts. We're not talking about, you know, modern knife defense, for example. And you, even in this context, it was not like I said something like parries are bad. Like, don't parry, that would be silly. Even though in some of the historical sources, that's kind of what they're saying, in the sense that it's better to actually take the vor, as it's called, the before, and just take the initiative and push the offense and strike them before they can even do anything. And if that fails, then counter-cut into their cut and, you know, that sort of thing. So the parry, or at least in the sense of a static block, that's the last ditch effort, the way the sources talk about it. So you could even make kind of an argument. Don't take this as parries are bad, please. We don't want the next round of drama. But you know, it's not like I said something like that. And as in modern self-defense, there are cases where, you know, bad instructors will tell people things that, or teach them things that may literally get them injured or killed in a real scenario. That's a different story. You know, in this case, if you practice HEMA, you know, based on a single video, you're doing it wrong. I mean, you should have an instructor. Ideally, you should ask the instructor. And even if you are an instructor, for one, you should already know the basics well enough. And also, you should test things, you know, in sparring. You know, if you get a new idea, okay, let's try it out. Because HEMA is interpretation. We have to interpret the manuals, and then we have to practice and, you know, test that interpretation in sparring and also in tournaments to see, does this actually work? Is there some merit to it? But yeah, and sometimes you can take that too far, which is what I've done lately, but by, you know, going more on experiences in sparring and kind of not reading the sources enough. And I'm going to fix that. I'm going to go back to the sources and read a lot more into that. So always take what you see on YouTube with a grain of salt.
Not just YouTube.
Anywhere, yeah, in academia as well. You know that all too well. Also, don't go by the person, go by the information. This applies in two ways. One, attack the arguments, not the person. And this is what happened lately, where there was like ad hominems out the window, and I mean, not all. There was really good constructive criticism. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna bitch about, oh no, somebody criticized me. No, I want to be criticized, and I want to be shown that I'm wrong so I can improve. That's part of it. It's important. But some people just love to jump on opportunities to just go, hey guys, this person is wrong, we got him now, just bash him, just insult him, and that sort of thing. That's just silly. I mean, if you disagree with something, even if you vehemently disagree, attack the arguments. You know, provide your own arguments, and you know, have an actual discussion rather than just, you know, mudslinging and name calling. That doesn't benefit anyone. But on the other hand, you can also overdo it and turn it into kind of a personality cult, where it's like, oh, this person, you know, I respect this person, and everything they say must be right, you know, because, yeah, blah, whatever, because they have a big YouTube channel, because whatever it is, or just because it is an instructor, or whatever, anything like that, you know, essentially appeal to authority fallacy here. That can also happen. We don't want that either. So a little bit of reason and common sense always helps, of course, except that it's hard to agree on what common sense is. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to say, for one, as I said, I very much welcome and appreciate constructive criticism. It's needed. I want it.
So thank you to the people who did.
Yes, exactly. Everybody who actually provided arguments and had an actual discussion. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. And yeah, otherwise, so keep in mind, the channel is not like, I'm not claiming to be expert or master of anything. I have a lot of interests. You know, I'm interested in a wide variety of historical arms and armor from different regions and time periods and all of that. Historical martial arts, modern martial arts, to an extent, modern knives and tools, self-defense tools, and, you know, gaming, and a whole lot of things. Really, that is why the channel has always been so eclectic and has all kinds of topics, even though there's an emphasis on certain ones. But, and this is another thing, one of the reasons why I make videos is also because they are a great way to learn and improve. Because, you know, quite often, if I bring something up in a video, then, you know, there may be people who know more about that, who are more experienced, who offer their perspective, and that I can think about that and maybe incorporate that and, you know, practice more and do things differently and all of that. Sometimes that's extremely helpful, so I'm very grateful for that. And otherwise, yeah, the main focus is on really providing entertainment. I want people to have a good time when they watch my videos, and you know, I like to expose people to new things, you know, be it a weapon that they've never seen before, or a technique or a concept or a whatever, really. Some food for thought. That's always what I like to provide. So that's really what this mainly is about. And yeah, I think that's enough blah blah. Right? Is that enough blah blah?
I don't think I'm allowed to say anything on that topic.
Hey, you're allowed to say whatever you want. You've been very quiet. But of course you're driving, so...
I kind of kept myself out of that HEMA drama.
That's not a bad thing. Sometimes you gotta just be like, nope, I'm not even gonna get involved. Anyway, so yeah, thanks everybody for watching. So I hope that gave, especially newer people on the channel, maybe a better idea of what I'm trying to do here. As it's all too easy to just see someone, oh, he has so many views and he does this thing and he must have an ego as big as a skyscraper and he must be really enjoying all his attention and blah 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 whatever. No, it's not really the case. Just do what I enjoy, what I'm enthusiastic about, and I hope
That's me.
Really? Yeah, well, I can't deny. I do you as well. Anyway,
You better bloody should.
why does this always escalate into sexual topics and puns and whatever when you're around?
That's what I do.
That's your fault. I blame it all on you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's leave it at that. So thanks everybody, and have a good one.